Hi, Aquarius Sun and Rising. Welcome to your June 2025 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So, as the month begins, there is a concentration of energy in your fifth house. Probably my favorite house besides my own house that I rule, being a Sag, which is the ninth, but I really like the fifth as well because the fifth house is the house of love and creativity. And for you, this is Gemini, and you have had Jupiter here all year. So have you been blessed with love, or at least, a lot of dating opportunities? And if you're an artist, have you felt more prolific because Jupiter can expand your creative juices? They could be flowing like a river. And so anyway, the sun is here, you have Jupiter, you have Mercury. And so the fifth house can be the house of pleasure, also known as, the house of fun, the things that we do when we're not at work. So that's going on. And then Venus is going into Taurus on the 6th of the month. And Taurus is the fourth house of home and family for you. And there could be some kind of harmonious energy that is connected to the domestic side of life. Venus can be money, so you might be getting some kind of profit from a property. Venus can be the mother, so you could be receiving money from the mother, or some say it's the father, one of the parents. You could be fixing up your home in some way. Maybe you are planning to sell it, or if you have a new home, or just putting money into a home, getting new furniture, something that makes it more beautiful. On the 8th of the month, Mercury goes into Cancer. So Cancer for you is the 6th house, and this is the house of work and health. And Mercury can be researching health matters. You could be talking to health practitioners. You could be talking to potential employers. Maybe you're negotiating with your current employer. On the 9th, the very next day, Jupiter goes into Cancer. So Jupiter is going to be going into your 6th house. And because this is a general reading, when these transits actually enter these houses will vary from person to person. I just tell the transits, I pretend everything is like, all of the cusps are 0 degrees of each sign, so that it makes it easier for me. But it's really going to be a little bit different than that. But, they'll happen sooner or later, let's face it. So it can still be relevant. So Jupiter's going into Cancer, and this can be a year because it's going to be, I don't know exactly when it's going into Leo, but it's probably going to be at least 12 months. So we'll just say until next June at least. And then, and during this time frame, you could see your volume of work increase. And if you're somebody who is not really doing your dream career, but you just are doing things to get by, to pay the bills, this can certainly give you steady work. The 6th house is steady work, is work. The 10th house is career, or the glory, the status of a profession. So there is a difference, but this is more of, this is just the nuts and bolts of your daily life. And you could find that you have created freedom in your daily life. Even if you are working and you're not retired or anything like that, you might be working remotely, traveling and working, things like that, because Jupiter can represent long distance travel or just freedom itself. In terms of your health, this could be a good time for your health. Even if you have health issues, it's possible that you will find the perfect healer for you, health practitioner. On the 11th, we have a full moon at 20 degrees of Sagittarius, and this is falling in the house that you rule, the 11th house, Aquarius. Full moons in the 11th house can give you, this is the house of gains. So you could see an increase in your finances because you might get a raise. Or maybe if you have your own business, you're just seeing your business grow by leaps and bounds. If you get a raise, Mercury in that work sector, maybe negotiating with an employer, paid off. The 11th house is the house of hopes and wishes. So a dream you had, a desire, long-range goal could come to fruition at this time. You could see a friend in a different light. It is possible that you could end a friendship. On the 17th, Mars goes into Virgo. This is the 8th house for you, and so the 8th house can be other people's money. Mars can be a war. Mars is the god of war. So it could be some sort of conflict if there are any kind of issues. Like, for instance, when I said Venus going into Taurus in your 4th house, you might have gotten money from some kind of house or from your mother or father. And maybe this is something that you're fighting about with other siblings, for instance, or maybe step brothers and sisters. Or if you are getting divorced, this might be that you are kind of fighting over your shared money or possessions. Think the War of the Roses, which I have said before on this channel that, because sometimes I think about these 8th house matters, and especially with the more challenging planetary influences, I think about that movie, and I think, they build it as a black comedy, but it really wasn't funny to me because I think, oh my God, that would be so terrible for people to fight over, possessions or money. It just seems like degrading to do something like that. But it could simply be that you are really determined to transform your life in some way. This is the house of personal transformation. On the 20th, the sun goes into Cancer, so the sun is in that work sector as well. And then 5 days later, there's a new moon there at 4 degrees of Cancer, and that will be in conjunction with Jupiter. So that's very auspicious for work-related matters. They say when Jupiter is in the 6th, you can have more work than you know what to do with. But maybe you luck into your dream job. And you never know. It could even happen. It could be an instant manifestation. So, set your intentions for that area. Like, what do you want your health to look like? How would you like your work to be? Aquarians tend to value freedom. So maybe traveling and working remotely is your dream scenario. On the 26th, Mercury goes into Leo. So now we're talking about your opposite sign, the opposite house, the seventh house of committed partnership. But it's also the house of legal affairs. So if there's anything with that eighth house, any kind of probate issue, and there's a fight and there's conflict, and somebody's taking somebody to court, or you're getting divorced or something like that, this could be negotiations, talking to lawyers, legal documents that have to be dealt with. If you're getting married, you could be making wedding arrangements, or if you're having a commitment ceremony, the same, making some arrangements with that. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.